So we're going to make bunny ears today, and so I've got just regular Elmer's glue, my fabric scissors that I really like, cut really nicely, just some scrap pieces. I found a nice piece of white for the ears, a piece of cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more durable, and then I cut a long piece of drawing paper into 3-inch strips for each headband. So this is already ready to go. The next thing to do is to kind of sketch out how big you want your white part of your ears. And they don't have to be perfect or match. You can even make one bend down if you want. They can both be the same, and you can have a stencil and cut them out. It's up to you. Now, generally I don't use these scissors to cut paper, but just for speedy sake here, we're going to do that. Cut them out. And this is the time to adjust them if you don't like the size that you drew out. It seems like you need to trim stuff off once you kind of see it in person. So there's my one ear, my floppy one, and here's my other one. Generally, I would not cut out of the middle like this, but because I wasn't sure what size I wanted my ears to begin with, I made them big to start with. Next time I'll be able to make sure it's out of the edge and save some more paper. After that, we're going to take your cardstock ears and glue them down onto the white. Now I flip it over so the pencil is not showing. I just think that looks nicer on the back. And you don't want to use too much of the glue because it will bleed through and you will see it on the other side. So I'm actually going to put it straight onto the ear, so that way there's not too much, and you can even kind of spread it out with your finger and then flip it over. Put it as close to the edge as you can. Like I said, kind of save some paper. Same with this one. And get it all over the ear. Sorry about the bell there. I am doing this during my planning at school right now. Trying to kill two birds with one stone, basically. And push that down. And then kind of get all the glue off your hand there. And I'm going to cut these out. So I have my two fuzzy ears, but they have a little more structure now. They won't flop down, hopefully, on their headband if you use cardstock. You know that you like the shape instead of just freehanding it. When you draw Sharpie on felt, sometimes it gets really fuzzy and it just looks funny. Even marker, so I prefer not to do that if I don't have to. I'll use a stencil like this. And now my other side is my nice fuzzy ear. And do this one. If it starts to peel up after I've got it cut, I can go ahead and reattach it with some extra glue. I don't usually use fabric glue when it comes to these projects just because it's such a hassle to get it out of the bottle, and the kids get a little impatient sometimes waiting for it to drain out, as well as Elmer's is a little bit easier to find if we start to run low on it, so I can refill the bottles a little bit easier. So it's not ideal, but it does work the best. Now, if it looks like it's got all that extra now, if it looks like it didn't match up perfectly, this is when you can kind of trim. Looks like my stencil started to move on me a little bit, and kind of get some of that cardstock off of there. And so now I've got my two bunny ears. I'm going to take my pink fabric and kind of line it up where I think it should go. Make a little cut so I don't make it too big. And I'm actually going to use from top to bottom here and make kind of a little tiny bunny ear shape just to go in the middle. And you can make it go all the way to the bottom. You can adjust it. It's however you like your bunny ears. This one can be the same size since I didn't go that far up with the pink, even though it's a floppy ear. I can do the same thing. Start here and cut into a point. I can also trim up the other side, kind of make it look a little more rounded and smooth, and I did go pretty high up on that one, so I would cut where I think that ear would overlap, and I can actually draw on there and add extra detail and things like that with Sharpie. Sorry, there's the bell again. And so I'm going to glue that on again with just Elmer's, nothing crazy, again, because the kids get very impatient waiting, and I always put the glue on my pieces so I know it's not too extra or I didn't put it in the wrong place. And I'm going to smooth it out the best I can, so hopefully that glue soaks into both pieces of the felt. Make sure I flip this one over since I cut it at an angle there for that piece of the ear that flops over. I want to make sure that it's at the right angle still. And then this gets glued onto the headband, and it's up to you if you want them spread, if you want them to be on the front of it. I prefer it to go behind, so you don't see where the bottom of the bunny ears are, and then the student can wear it, and you can decide how big it's going to be to go around the ears. For the head and things like that, you can kind of place them based on how big the child's head is. If you want them to be a little further spread apart, it's up to you. And again, you can glue it, you can staple it, it's up to you. I'm just going to glue these down, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue down at the bottom, just a couple little stripes, and let it soak in there. Now this part is a little harder to get to stay because you've got the two pieces of fabric. It does bubble up, and I'm going to make mine kind of go out a little bit, so they're at kind of an angle, making a little fun. So that's my ears there. I let that dry for a little bit, and then I kind of let them work on a side project or writing about bunnies. I'm going to actually have my students do a class story, so while these dry, we are actually going to sit down and discuss what we think our bunny does on Easter and what kind of problems and things he goes through and how he fixes those problems, and then we'll go back and we will measure the headband to go around their head and staple it on the back and make sure that it actually fits them and that it stays on. We also put our name on the inside, on the back, so that way it's not on the student's forehead, but then it doesn't show on the back and it looks a little bit nicer. So that is how I make my bunny ear headband. And this year I'm going to have my MH students do this and my kindergarten students do this. So it's a pretty easy project for them to kind of get together and make.